What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. Taking a look at a new deck. I've really wanted to look at some new decks recently. Been messing around. I've been playing a lot at Melf Sprite because I just love that deck. But I think I finally found my next deck that I'm like a little invested into, and that is Prediction Princess. The end board of Prediction Princess with all the new support is crazy. I mean, it's a borderline. Tier 0 is it's not tier 0 obviously, but like if you get your combo off, you're gonna win like almost every single time. So what will happen is you got Terralith, and that special summons a flip from the deck. Okay, great. Then it can also, Terralith can flip itself face down, and then during your opponent's turn you flip it, special summon another from the deck. And what do we have here? Well, both of these are going to get flipped face up. This is all during the draw phase, by the way. Your opponent hasn't done anything. You can take Guard Dog. Your opponent can't special summon. And your opponent also cannot activate spell cards or trap cards. All right, there we go. There's the end of the duel. Like, that's insane. It's crazy. Like, I don't have that many replays because the idea is the same. If you get your combo off, you win. Now, I do have some other supplementary engines in here. One of those being Nadir Servant. So your extra deck really doesn't matter. Incantations lock you out of the extra deck anyways. There's no Prediction Princess extra deck monsters. So Nadir Servant is good for going first and second, right? I can send Elder Entity, and that can help you win a lot, right? Because it has nothing to do with incantations, has nothing to do with ritual summoning. So the engines work pretty well together, all things considered. Also, I still think White Knight of Dogmatica is like a super underrated card. Gives you so much advantage. So Dogmatic of Fleur is an interruption, and then White is like multiple forms of interruption because you get to send something like Elder Entity and get rid of something out of your opponent's extra deck. So he's playing Dark World. Okay, I'm going to get rid of yugioh. Like, I think that's a huge card when it comes to Dark World. And actually, he didn't have any other copies, so obviously I'm going to get rid of that. I thought about doing the fusion, but he had 2 copies of it, so it wouldn't have mattered anyways. And of course, yugioh Skuldred is a crazy consistency booster for Dark World. It's like, kind of like their plan A, if you will. He's going to start bringing out some bodies. I don't really know what he's going to go into. Like, he's not going to be able to fix his hand through yugioh, like I've been talking about. So that's obviously very good. And I think that's like a huge part of what he does. He actually just brought something back. I thought for sure he would draw 2 to get a little bit further. But he seems to be okay with whatever his end board is. He's going to be able to add the field spell, to his hand after this. But if his only form of interruption is Hope Harbinger, he's cooked. So when I know I'm going second, obviously I'm just going to play these big blowout cards. Like Evenly Matched, like Dark Ruler. I had that same mentality when it came to Dark Magician, and it works out pretty well. Here it obviously equalizes the game pretty decently. So Manju can go ahead and search me the other ritual monster that I need, and I'm off to the races, right? Nadir Servant can send Herald. Herald can search me anything, right? I don't have to search the Dogmatic Fusion. I'm going to search the other one. So I think Nadir Servant is a must-include for any Prediction Princess deck. And the new ritual spell is sick. It's really, really good. It brings out a Prediction Princess from the deck during your opponent's draw phase. And the one that it can bring out lets you add a ritual monster and a ritual spell to your hand. It's obviously quite good. And then, yeah, this is it. This is the end of the duel. Like, flip, bring out the other one, right? My opponent can activate spell cards or monster effects or special summon. Yeah, Manju, okay. That's why I wanted to show this one. Manju is when it's flip summoned, but it's not when it doesn't count when you flip it. And that's just bizarre. It's like flip monster, but it's really not. So I don't know. Like, I thought I'd show that off because I was like, oh, it just says when it's flip summoned. That doesn't count as flip summoning. It counts as just being flipped. Shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh. Great. Yep, my opponent can't play Yu-Gi-Oh. Sorry. You can't. That's it. It's really crazy. Like, I knew it was good, and I remember I played against it once, but I never really realized. This is like my final build, right? Pot of Extravagance. Like, these cards I feel like are just must-includes, right? You don't need your extra deck, and you can just keep sending, right? Everything's a 3 of. Herald's the most important card in your extra deck, and really the only one that you ever really need to go into. But, yeah, seeing all these consistency cards used in one is so good. And this looks kind of weird, but it's, like, insane. Because as long as you have these 2 ritual monsters in rotation, you've won the duel. So even if my hand's kind of, like, meh, which it is, like, it's not actually, because my end board is insane. If your opponent starts out with the Imperm, it's obviously very bad. I do play Crossout Designator, like when I know I'm going first, and that kind of helps, but it's just one of those things, right? If your opponent's only playing like big blowout cards, they ain't playing. And like I said, that one during your opponent's, you know, I guess the standby phase, I can just bring this out, right? When it's flip summon, I get to add a Prediction Princess monster and a Ritual spell for my deck. It's any Ritual spell too, which kind of makes that thing interesting. But it's a pretty good one-up to have in the deck. Unfortunately, it's a high-level monster, which kind of sucks, but at least it's 2,500 attack. You know, I have insane follow-up. My opponent can't play. He cannot play the game. He can't special summon or activate spell or trap cards. And that's pretty good. This is against Crusadia. And for a while, I was playing this Pot of the Forbidden, right? You get to look at your opponent's hand, discard a card, or you get to draw 2 cards. A very good effect, but I don't know. Like, the thing is like, if you get your combo off, you're like gonna win 90% of the time. So it's like what is it even doing? Like, you only kind of need those 2 flip monsters to win. Well, I guess in this case, it looks pretty good, right? I get to flip this up. I'm going to look at his hand and discard 1. I get to look at his entire hand. I get hand knowledge, right? And then during my opponent's turn, because I'm in a desperate situation, I knew he had a Kaiju in his hand. I went ahead and flipped it face down. That way, at least if he attacks into it, I'll get the effect off. Yeah, reading is hard in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Biblo Muse, if it's tributed, it brings itself back. So he tributes it with a Kaiju just for it to be brought back, which is not something you would think any card in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh has, but probably should have just, you know, Kaiju'd over the Pot of, whatever it's called. Pot of what? Pot of the Forbidden. He's got the Crusadia. He's going to pop over that, but, you know, I still have the Pot of face down. I'm going to be able to add the Ritual monster and the Ritual spell to my hand. He had, I think, a Nibiru, and the other one was Parallel Exceed in his hand, so that was just kind of stuck. So I knew the 2 cards in hand, and this is like pretty easy to out. So let's keep this train rolling here. This is against Scareclaw, and I think this is just the combo. So I only have a couple more replays left, obviously. You know, Preparation of Rites is really good. All of these are just consistency, and that's kind of the key. And when I play Yu-Gi-Oh, my main goal is consistency over like power level. I always feel that way. It's unfortunate. My only targets for Chalice, or for Preparation of Rites, is the darn Chalice card. Incantation Chalice Slime. Go figure. And I had both in my hand. I drew 2 pre-prep. Or 2 preparations, right? Not pre-prep. Pre-prep is crazy in this deck. Alright, dog. Stop me if you've seen this before, right? Face down. During my opponent's draw phase, I can flip that up again, which is great. And I can bring out the one that doesn't let my opponent activate spell or trap cards. Flip those 2 face up. My opponent's going to like... and this is good, right? Scareclaw's a good deck, but if you're playing a modern deck, this is game over. He can't get like 0 attack, you know, 0 defense, can't special summon, can't activate spell cards. So even if you had this gas hand, it ain't really gas, is it? It doesn't really do anything at all. And he can't go into the Link 1, he can't do any of that. And I'm sure this is the same thing. Extra Foolish is pretty good. You know, Chalice is insane. It's actually a really good card. I don't know if I've ever read the effect of it, but here we are. So all I have to do now is find a way to get to the other Ritual monster, and I do, right? Chalice Slime by itself is equal to that. So, Incantation, I can grab the other one, and I do have the Ritual spell. Okay. Shake your opponent's hand. Good luck in the next round, you know what I mean? I think these cards just came out, because I remember making a video when the support was announced, so... kind of cool. I don't know how... I bet you this deck is extremely inexpensive. It obviously isn't very good going second. That's why you play those big blowout cards. But it is fun. It's definitely a fun deck to play. Flip those 2. Can't activate... Can't special summon. Can't activate spells. Shake, shake. See you later. So, I just wanted to go a quick display over that. Thought it was really cool. Didn't really know what this deck did before this. And now I do. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.